Hi everybody, it's Savannah and I'm sending you so much love. Welcome back to my channel and thank you for coming by and visiting with me today. It means so much to me. Okay, so today we're going to work on some envelopes and we're going to make some journals and some small journals with the envelopes. I have a ton of envelopes here of just varieties. These ones are kind of thick. That one's thinner. These ones are decent size. And then I have some like really, really thin ones. These probably came from the dollar store because they're really, really thin. And we're going to just get going on these. This is probably going to just be an envelope series because if you've watched any of my hauls recently, you know I've gotten a ton of envelopes. And so I definitely need to start doing stuff with them. So I'm going to start off with just these really thin ones. And I'm going to take some of them. And then I just have a bin of scraps here. I have the paint samples, embellishments that I did in a video 2 days ago, I think it was. So check out that video if you haven't seen it, because we're going to be using some of those techniques here today. I have some flowers that have been fussy cut. This is from Anne at Old Decina, her little flower and embellishment kit. So I'll try to remember to link that below. And what else do I have? I have some vintage, oh, I didn't even notice that color. I have some vintage sewing paper here that I thought would be good to use. And then I was going through my sewing boxes. If you've watched my vintage hauls or tips and techniques, I always say if you find an old sewing box at an estate sale or garage sale, buy it. Just buy it. Just don't even, as long as it has stuff in it, don't buy it for an empty box. But these trims were actually in one of the sewing boxes that I got, and there is a lot of it. And so I had pulled these out thinking these might be fun to use. And then look at this pattern here. So I can see colors and things starting to come together. So this is going to be our color palette. So it's always good to start with a color palette in mind. It doesn't have to be exact. You can always add in things and embellish things and mix colors. But if you have a general color theme in mind, it will really help you. For example, if you're going through, like I have this little stack in here that I've been organizing. I'm going to be doing a craft room tour soon, hopefully. I'm just trying to get everything organized because I've gotten so much stuff lately. But like if you're going through and you're like, oh, that's really pretty, but then you kind of have your color palette and you go, yeah, that doesn't go. So you can flip through. Now this, look at that, that goes. It's got the colors in it. So let's set that aside. This one could go, especially since we have this and it does have some colors. So I'm going to put that aside. Oh, I had this one too. Where, see, this has the blues, but I would, oh, it does have the green. That green is in both of them. So it just kind of helps you when you're going through. Like, obviously the purple doesn't go. This is that paper in a different color. That's got that some blue, because if you look at this here, it does have a lighter blue right there. So I can put that aside. This kind of goes with that yellow. This kind of has some of the colors in it. This I would say does not go. Even though it does have some of the colors, this is a completely different palette. That might go, this might go. So you can kind of go through your scraps and get an idea of some of the things that might go with it. So it's always good to start off with a color palette. So I have that, and then I'm gonna not take all these envelopes, just seeing. So I do have some envelopes that are gonna match that color. Sorry, I pulled it off to the side. So I might use these, I might not, because we're gonna do some painting. So I can put those aside. Maybe those. But this is one of the best ways when you're working on something. Let me kind of move this over. Let's set our color palette here. When you're working on something, this is such a great idea to go through. We'll pull it, because we might even just use these for other things rather than the envelope. So it's a great idea to go through your stuff ahead of time. We've got like a book and some book pages in here. So here is, it's getting a little blue. So I'm not gonna, because it's more of this turquoisey color. So that works. So yeah, like I was starting to say, sorry, I got distracted. It's a good idea to go through and pull things that you think might go with it. You might not use it. Like, see, this one here is too pastel. Even though it's really pretty, it doesn't go. But I really like this. So I'm going to pull it for that part. But yeah, this is just a bin of scraps, printables that I have. So I'm going to pull these things out. Some music. Let's see. So I'm going to go through this and pull some stuff out, and I'll show you what I end up with. Okay, so I have pulled out, is it going? Yes, it's recording. Pulled out the things that I want to, that I think I might use. Oops, these are the envelopes right there. So I just recently got these off of Amazon, and there's some really fun, they're called pony bead shapes. So there's flowers and hearts, and they're really, really cute. It was on Amazon. So if you just look for pony bead hearts, it's 600 count. I also got these, which are clay beads, and they're like little flat beads. So those I thought might be kind of cute to use. And then I also have these seed beads here. It's a little set. So I think each one of these was like $5 or $6 each. So who knows? We might use some of those. You've seen this. So these are some upcoming printables that will be in my shop. I'm still fixing them and getting them ready. So some flowers, some doilies, and these are in the colors. So I thought I would just pull these out. So like I said, these will be coming. I just have to figure out which ones work the best. So there's that. Then I have this wrapping paper. It's like a vintage wrapping paper. Oh, I didn't realize there was a second one in there. Interesting. It's a little bit darker, but I think it still kind of goes, so I might use that. This is from a children's book, and I was thinking about like the flowers or something. And then I have from a quilting book, a quilting magazine that I got at the Friends of the Library. So I don't know if in every state they do this, but here in California, we have a Friends of the Library program. And so books that aren't going to be used in the library or books that have been donated are sold for really inexpensive. And so I got this, it was a quilting magazine from there. And It has some pretty pictures. I see these words because I can always cut out the words the letters and do them separate. But then here is a picture of a quilt. This is like the quilt pattern, but I think that looks so cute with that. So that I can see that being used here. It's the same one. Then there's this one because I want to pull in some of these brown tones. And then there is that one. Also coming up with some future printables is a frame set that I'm working on. See, like this one, it doesn't really work out so well, but I pulled some of those. And then I have just some vintage papers. So this was like certificate. I have some scraps here. I have this. This is like I don't know what this is. A little magazine or something. It's an old one. It's pretty brittle, but I thought that yellow might go with it. This is a printable, and I don't remember whose this is. I'm so sorry. This is from a calligraphy book, some scraps. I don't know where that holy card came from. This is from an old vintage magazine. Some dictionary paper. I don't want that one. This is from my Darya kit. This is from the $2 Tuesday kit. This is a $2 Tuesday kit. So I just had some of these pages and I thought that the colors would go well. So that is what we're going to be working with. And then you saw these. Yes. Okay. So let's go ahead and get started on the first part. So I just want to show you, if you gather some things, start off with an inspiration piece or pieces, and then gather some things that go with it. And that is going to make your journals and your projects that you're working on much more cohesive. So let me get these out of the way. I have this little palette. It's kind of dirty, but for what we're going to work on, it'll be fine. So if you saw my video about the paint and the house paint and it being like a chalk paint and then painting things, I want to give you an alternative. If you have a good collection, sorry, I'm going to take a drink of coffee, of acrylic paints, you can turn those into chalk paint. And I'm sure many of you know this trick, but if you don't, this is a good one for me to show you. So I'm just kind of going through my acrylic paints that are next to me and pulling out the colors that will go with this. And you can always mix your colors too. So all of these paints were actually given to me. Most of them. There might be a couple in here I bought. Most of them were given to me though. And so that's why I have so many of them. I've been very fortunate in that people have given me lots of things from their craft room. I've talked about that before. So, okay, I think that's more than enough. So what I want to do kind of something different. I'm sure it's been done. I haven't seen it, but I want to open up, and I don't want to paint on my mat. My new mat, I just got it. I don't want to paint on it, but I have a piece of paper down. So what I want to do is, rather than taking the envelope apart, what I was thinking about, I was falling asleep last night and thinking about this, and it came to me. Like I said, I'm sure it's been done. It's not that brilliant of an idea, but I just want to take a little sliver off each side, and then we're going to just open it up that way. Oops, wrong way. On this side. Just a little bit. Oops. So that way, if you, I mean, it's just another way to use your envelopes where you don't have to necessarily use them as an envelope. And then I want, well, that's right. Okay, so now we have the envelope opened up. Okay, so we already have this unique thing that we can look at and think, what can I do with this? So one of the first things that I want to do is I'm going to paint this. One, by painting it, it is going to stiffen up this really thin paper, which is going to be super valuable when we go to work with this. So I'm just going to kind of look at my colors. That one looks really good. That's a little bit green. This actually has iridescence in it, which I'm usually not too much of a sparkly person. So let's try this one. Okay, so here's the trick. Hopefully this is not all dried up. Okay, so there we have. I'm going to mix some, pull some of that out, and then it is a little bit dried out. So I'm going to get a little water to put in here. Okay, so I have a little bit of water here. And I'm just going to put that in and thin this out some, because we're going to thicken it up in just a second. So we can get this actually really pretty thin. So these paints are a little bit older. Okay. And I'm going to actually thin that out even more. Okay, I think that's going to be pretty good. Then, if you don't know, now you can do this in many ways. You can do flour, you can do cornstarch, but what I like best is plaster of Paris, and it's so inexpensive. And if you add a little bit of this to your acrylic paint, you're going to create your own chalk paint. So if you have acrylic paints on hand, then this is an alternative to buying a chalk paint. I still like to buy chalk paints, and I do like to make my own, but since I do have this acrylic, I figure I need to use this up, and then as I use up these, then I'm going to be buying the house paint that I showed you in the video, because I loved that. So you're just going to add, that was like maybe a teaspoon, and then you're going to mix it in and get it all good and mixed in. And I might need to add some more. You want to get it like a waffle mix, I think is good. So where it's kind of drippy. So waffle mix is slightly thicker than a pancake batter. And I'm going to add just a little bit more. Oops, that was a lot more. That's okay. We can always add some water to it. Yeah, we're going to definitely need to add water because I put too much, but that's okay. A little bit of the paint goes a really long way. Let's add a little bit more water. I think we're gonna be good. So let me put this plaster of Paris out of the way before I dump it on myself. Okay, so now we're just going to make sure it's all mixed. And you can mix this with a spoon or something else, but this is just an inexpensive oops, paintbrush. And then we're going to start putting it on. And a little bit of this is going to go a very long way. We now have painted paper, and it is so much stronger. Well, if you try to tear it, it will tear, but it has it almost has like a leathery, fabricy feel to it. So what I was thinking is, first off, is I really like this picture. So this next, the rest of the video, I am going to go ahead and put it to music. This video was actually over 2 hours long, and so I have put it in double time and had to delete the recording. So I'm just gonna put this to music and let you watch it. There's so many good things to watch and see how things are being put together, and hopefully it'll just be relaxing for you, but still give you lots of ideas. I ended up doing lots of layering using a fabric and collaging, and I'm going to be doing a second part to this journal because there's still more to come. So hopefully you'll watch the next video tomorrow. And yeah, it's just a lot of layering and trialing and error. And so I just really hope that you enjoy it. If you don't like these videos being set to music and just being able to watch and relax, let me know in the comments, and then I will not do that. But for now, just enjoy. Today, my prayer for everybody watching this video, in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, is that the Lord, the giver of life and creativity, bless you abundantly, that you always know that you are loved and you are cherished and you matter in this world and you have a purpose. Remember, you are loved and cherished.